So let me start by introducing myself. I am Mariana. I'm head of customer success at noCRM. And today I'm very pleased to welcome Nicholas, our head of sales. So welcome.
Hello, everyone. Pleased to be here.
Yes, so I don't know if you know, but this is our very first free masterclass at noCRM. And since this was thought mostly for customers and to help them, use the software better and understand more the concepts, different themes, the subjects that we're going to be doing during the different master classes. The idea today is not to go through the entire platform of noCRM. It's really, we're here today to talk about how to improve your qualification process in order to close more deals. But since we do have people who don't know noCRM at all as our guests, I still wanted to say a few words about who we are, okay? So for those who don't know noCRM, it's a lead management software, okay? So as its name suggests, it's not a CRM per se. It's really thought for salespeople to manage their leads very efficiently. It's made in France. It was launched in 2014. We have 15,000 users in over 80 countries. And so the main idea is really to help the salesperson in their daily activities and make sure they never miss the next action with a lead so that the process is smoother and helps them close more deals. So as mentioned, not getting into details of how the software works. For those who are not using it on a daily basis and want to know more, feel free to go to our website, youdontneedacrm.com, and to start a free trial if you want. And as on the subject today, as you already know, it's really mastering your qualification process to close more deals. So the goal of this masterclass is to give you a concrete and actionable tips and advice that you can start using tomorrow to help you increase your conversion rate. All right, so the format of the session, I promise it's not going to be a monologue by me. The idea is we have Nicholas here today so that it's interactive, okay? And the idea is that we have a more theoretical part at the beginning where Nicholas is going to talk about the importance of having a well-defined prospecting process, qualification process, and separating properly the qualification of your prospects from the lead management part. So once you identify potential business opportunities. Okay, and then on the second part of the masterclass, we'll have a more practical side in which Nicholas will explain us exactly in concrete terms how the noCRM team uses noCRM on a daily basis to work on their prospecting activities and qualifying leads. Okay, and after that, we will of course have a Q&A. So you're more than welcome to ask us all your questions during the masterclass. I will try to take your questions to Nicholas between the different parts. So do not hesitate to ask all the questions during the presentation, okay? And I've also prepared a quick quiz with 2 questions. So please answer them at the end of the session. All right, let's go. I'm going to stop talking now. Nicholas, it's your turn.
Thank you very much, Mana.
You're welcome. And so let's go. The first question for you, Nicholas, would be, what is the difference between cold prospects and leads?
Yeah, okay. So let's start with a kind of a theoretical aspect at the beginning. So yeah, let's define the terms, important. So we're talking about a cold prospect when we talk about a contact that you do not have spoken yet to, okay? It's not yet qualified to enter your sales process. It's really a cold prospect. Depending on your business, of course, it can take, it can range from a list of contacts that you buy on an event or that you download or scrap from a database to also company or people that have shown a little interest, like maybe they visited your website or they, started a trial account on your platform, but it's still cold because it's not qualified to enter your sales process. Okay. So it depends on your business. So that's cold prospects, business opportunity or qualified leads, as we can call them. these are more contacts that actually had shown an interest in your product or services and that you have qualified to be able to enter your sales process. Your sales process can then be a demo, providing a quotation, meetings and everything. But they reach the sales process part and they cross the qualification step, basically.
Okay.
So it's basically the idea is to separate them and focus, of course, on the opportunities that have qualified and because they have better chance to close at the end.
All right, that's clear. And so you talk about qualification. What is it exactly?
Yeah, so the qualification, as I just said, is the step between cold prospect and qualified leads, of course. It's basically the filter between the mass volume of prospect that you get in and the lead that you want to focus on. So that would be the guy that bounces you, at the entrance of a nightclub, basically. Okay. So it can take the form of a call, but basically it's a discovery phase that will allow you to validate or not this prospect according to your own qualification criteria. Right. So we often hear about, MQL or SQL, so marketing qualified leads or sales qualified leads. And basically the sales qualification, it will come right between the two.
All right. And why is this qualification process so important in a sales team?
Yeah, it is very important because it will help you do three things, basically. The first one, it will, of course, optimize the time of your sales rep because they will focus on the opportunities that have a better chance to close, okay? Qualification, it will help you filter, as we mentioned just before, what will come into your sales process and what your sales rep will focus on. So first thing is optimize the time of the sales rep. Then, of course, it will help you increase the closing rate for two reasons. The first one is because your pipeline will be full of qualified opportunities only, okay, obviously, if you manage the qualification process well. And second, also it will give your sales rep more weapon, I would say, to close the deal, in the sense that they have requested and retrieved the information that will help them qualify the lead, but also help them at the end go through the whole process until the closing. Okay.
All right. That's clear.
And then the last part, I would say, if I can say, is also for the prospect. It's important because if you have a powerful qualification process, or at least a well-defined qualification process, it will give the prospect a better experience in a sense of buying experience. It's clear for them what's gonna be the process. The qualification phase is here to better understand the project and what they're looking for, better help them basically. So they're going to feel the difference between a straight process going to the sales part and dividing that into a qualification phase and then moving on to the sales process if they are qualified. So I would say it's smoother for the prospect as well.
Okay, makes sense. And what is your tip to optimize the sales process and make it better and more performing in order to close more deals?
Well, first thing, you need to define, of course, the qualification criteria. So what will be the information that you want to retrieve and that will validate or not the prospect to go in the next phase, basically. So it could be just, checking that the need of the prospect is aligned with what you can offer in your service or product. So that's basically checking in their needs, but also it can be, checking if it's a real project, if they have the budget for that, what will be the decision process, all these kind of things that are very essential information for you to qualify the lead. So there's a lot of methodologies, sales qualification methodologies out there. You can have a look. It's not the topic of the masterclass, of course, but first of all, define your qualification criteria. Okay. Second thing, we then advise you to formalize or write them in a script so that you have always the same structure when you collect information during your first call. Okay. It seems quite, obvious, but it's very important. And it will also very basically help your salespeople also during their first call. It can serve as a guide, and you make sure they don't forget anything. You make sure they ask the right question. So it's very powerful, very important.
Great.
And the last thing we could say is, it would be to manage basically your prospects separately from your leads. So we discussed that already, but it's very important that you don't mix the two processes. And that way it's going to be easier for the reps to focus on one part on the cold prospect. So it can be cold calling or anything that you use as prospecting activities. And then on the other side, focusing on the lead itself, the qualified leads, to drive them to the closing phase.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Well, this was the theoretical part of of this session. Thank you, Nicholas. So if we were to remember 3 things that Nicholas just said, it would be to have a qualification process, materialize it or transform it in the script, okay, and make sure to manage your prospects and your leads separately. Correct?
Exactly. Yeah. I would say that exactly.
So now, Nicholas, what we would all love to know is how does your sales team at noCRM do this on a daily basis?
Sure.
Can you show us?
Yeah. I propose that I'm going to explain exactly how we do it. We have around 200 prospects per month that we manage across various members of the team. Okay. And I'm going to explain you the qualification criteria and show you how we do that in noCRM, how everything is built and what is the process exactly. But for that, I need to share my screen first.
Oh, can you?
No.
You can't. You probably can't. All right, let me allow you to do so. Okay, should be fine now. Great. And can you, while you're sharing your screen, can you tell us a bit how your team is structured? Do you have people doing exclusively the prospecting part and other people that are just closing, or do they all do everything?
No, we basically organize as a full sales cycle team, I would say. Okay. I don't know if we can say that, but no, we manage across the sales cycle from prospecting to lead closing and even to the customer success part. So falling down to your team then as well. But no, we manage the full cycle, so we don't have a specific team doing the cold calling. But the same process could apply to a team, separated between cold caller, or what we used to call SDR, and then account executives that would, manage the lead then.
Okay.
So I can explain the process. It works for 2 types of teams. The ideas and principles are the same, I would say.
Okay, great.
But can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Big question.
I can.
Okay.
Everybody can. I believe everybody can if I can.
Yes, should be okay. So for those who are familiar with noCRM, so this is the lead section, okay? So we are here in the lead section. This is basically the pipeline where I do manage my sales qualified leads. So this is a demo account. This is not our real account with the team. I cannot show you that, but still it's the same principle, okay? So here I would manage all the leads that has cross basically the qualification criteria, the bouncer at the entrance of my sales process. Okay. What we are going to focus on right now is talking about the cold prospect part of the tool. This is where we are going to manage our prospecting and qualification part. Okay. So to give you a concrete example, at noCRM, we manage the prospect, or basically the people who are trying the software, so starting a trial account on the website, and that have more than 3 potential users. So these are the first, criteria to enter the prospecting list, the prospect part of the tool. Okay. So the team will manage them in a prospecting list. So in noCRM, you basically see here the cold prospect part is really separated from the lead. So that's very important. And in this interface, if I jump into prospecting list, I can create multiple prospecting lists that will, be either created manually by importing a CSV file. I can copy paste some line in the prospects, and I can also link that to my favorite, lead generation tool, either using Zapier or using our API. And that's what we do at noCRM. So basically, all team members have an access to a dedicated prospecting file, which is divided by area of the world for us. And as soon as a prospect create a trial account on the website, for example, in Latin America, is going to arrive in this prospecting list, in the Latin America prospecting list, and this is going to be managed by the Latin America sales manager. Okay. As simple as that. So you see now the interface with what prospecting needs look like. It's basically an entry, which is a kind of Excel-like, and you have information column. So you can build that, and then you've got a little interface here to manage efficiently those prospects. Okay. So remember, it's called prospect, so you want to reach them for the first time. Okay. So I'm going to open this little bubble here. I've got a prospect browser in noCRM that allows me to, see the information in a very efficient way. And then I'm able to start reaching out to this prospect and qualify them. Okay. So how do we do the qualification? It's basically a call for us. Okay. So for that, you've got various possibilities. I have integrated this account with Aircall. So I'm able, if I click to launch directly the dialer of Aircall, but if you don't have Aircall or other VoIP system, you can have the QR code. So you're able to flash code the code and start the call directly. Okay. And then when I talk to this person, I mentioned that I want to have a script to guide my sales team. Okay. Remember that. So here in the tool, you can have a specific script for your prospect qualification. You can build multiple scripts in noCRM. You can even build them out of noCRM if you don't use noCRM for now. But I'm going to show you. Oh, it's not the right. Oh, I have it in French, which is sad for today.
I'll just use another one.
But I just use this one, yeah, to give you the example of what you can build. It's basically a formula that you can build from scratch, or you can use our template when you start building them. We've got various templates for B2B or, property agencies, real estate, and marketing agencies. The idea is to formalize and write down all the information that you want to retrieve from the first call with your prospect, and that will help you define if they're qualified or not, basically. So you can start with basic information about the company and what they're doing, what the size of the company. So for us, it's important to understand also what they are looking for, because it started a trial account. So it's important to ask, why did they start a trial account in the first place? And what is powerful with this script is you can write, I want to get the property type. Yeah, it's an example in the real estate, but you can even write down, the questions that you want your sales team to ask. And that's very powerful to drive, again, the team to ask the right question, retrieve the right information, and then qualify better the prospect. So you can build that from, using pros and cons, retrieve contact information, and then focus on what is important also: timing, budget, decision criteria, all this valuable information that you want to retrieve during the first call. Okay, so I'm going to type information, and this like this. The timing would be now, okay. Some other questions. I have a, you can put that if you want a timer of your call to be able to measure the average time of your qualification call. It could be important for your sales team also. You can rate the call, and then you can log an activity. This is specific to noCRM. You can predefine activities, and I would advise you to define the qualification activity. Okay, and there you can define: is it a good fit, is it a bad fit, or is it kind of in the middle? So for this one, I'm going to use the warning, and then I post that on my prospect. I retrieve the information, and I can then move on to creating a lead.
In your case, warning, what would it be for the team? Like not having the decision maker on the phone, not having a specific budget, not being right away.
It could be, there's basically red flags in terms of features, people that want to manage everything in the same software, for example. But that would be bad fit. Warning is more like, yeah, you don't have the decision maker. The process is very long. So we try to focus on deals that would close within 1 month or 1 month and a half, because the trial period is 15 days for us. So that doesn't make sense to follow up on leads that would close at the end of the year for now, you know. So, but depending on the size, so it's a mix between, okay, we are in the right position to answer the needs. What they are looking for is exactly what we can provide. But in terms of process, there is a question of budget, there is a question of decision maker, timing, this kind of things that, you know, put a little warning on the qualification. Exactly.
Absolutely. And the script, just to make sure that everybody understood, it can be, I mean, it's a noCRM tool, okay, that is external to noCRM, but you integrate with noCRM if you want, and it's super easy to create. I don't know if you were going to show us how to create.
I can show you later on in the admin panel, but basically you can as well start creating your own script if you don't have a noCRM account right now. Okay. So that's we've got the script generator. You can find us on Google. I can show you the address, and we're going to put that also in the comment, maybe in the video. We're going to send the recording, and so that's an important part, because you can start building the script straight away tomorrow for your team, even if you don't use noCRM. Of course, it's easier to use because in noCRM it's integrated. You can create multiple, and then it's going to follow up on the lead live when it's created as a lead. Okay, so to explain that, I'm going to create a lead. So from the prospecting list directly, I can create a lead because this lead has passed the qualification criteria. I have predefined tags that I need to fill in. And then from my prospecting list, I have a lead that arrived in my pipeline. And I have the pleasure to tell you, Mariana, that I created a lead for you. Okay.
Thank you very much.
I would be, in this case, the ESDR, calling prospects from a specific list, creating leads that arrive directly in Mariana's pipeline. So I was mentioning before, you can have the team managing the full sales cycle, or I am the qualifier, basically. Mariana will be the closer, okay? And I can define that actually in the lead creation rule, sorry, here. Okay.
And can you share a prospecting list between several people?
Yes, you can. You can define the access rules for each prospecting list. It can be by team, for a single person, or shared by some people in the team. And then what you can do is, assign colors like this, like I did for these lines. And you have a specific color code for each of your reps, and this one or the one for Vlad, which is the sales guy from our sales team, and all the other one is going to be for me, and then I'm going to assign you all the leads that I'm creating from this prospecting list.
All right, and we can filter those.
You can filter everything here. Yeah. An important thing, I didn't show that. If they are not, reaching out the sales process, for example, it's a bad fit. So I'm going to enter that. Okay, it's a bad fit. You don't want to delete them. What you're going to do is cancel this prospect. Okay, using the action menu here, you have a cancel button. And then you move on to the next one. And that's how you're getting efficient with your prospecting list. I'm calling this one. I cannot get an answer. With the Dream Team Edition at noCRM, you're able to send an email directly from your prospect. Okay, so this is directly integrated with your existing mailing system. You can create templates for your team. In this case, I want to send an email to a prospect. So I've got my folder, prospect management. I've got my first discovery call, and I'm going to send Michel a nice email proposing a call because I didn't manage to reach him in the first place. Okay. I'll be able to track this email once it's open, and I'll be able to retrieve information on the results of my template, like statistics on the template I use to reach out to prospects. So again, in a few clicks, I try to reach out to Michel. I didn't get an answer. I send out an email to propose a call, and I'm moving on to the next one. The next one is actually already created as a lead. I'm moving on to the next one. And this way, you know, I manage a large volume of prospects. I focus on cold prospects. I turn it into leads when they are qualified, and I assign it to the account manager who's going to close them after.
All right. I'm gonna ask a tricky question. I know the answer to, but probably other people might be wondering. When I call a prospect and they don't answer, I can send an email, but what's the process? Like, how do I set up a reminder for calling that prospect back in a while? Because you can't do that, right? You have to create a lead.
Yeah, you can do that in noCRM. So it's basically a question of implementing a process for your team. Okay. So what we do for us is basically you take 1 hour every morning to go and check your prospecting list. Okay. So for us, the prospecting list is automatically filled in when someone creates a trial account. So every day we receive leads on this prospecting list, and it's the duty basically of the sales rep owner of the prospecting list to go and check and do their call. Okay. Our process is to call 3 times. So you do 1 call, 1 email if you don't manage to reach the person. The next day you do another call, another email, and then you wait for another 2 days, another call, another email, and then if you can't reach them, you cancel the line, just as we said before.
Okay.
And you move on to the next one.
Perfect.
Okay, so that's basically how we do it at noCRM. And then what we do is trying to understand what works and what are the key performance indicator, the KPI of each prospecting list and of this process, basically. So how we do that? We use the statistics available in noCRM. So we've got a lot of performance analysis that you can access for your team's activity, team performance, and everything. Quick one, we've got now the sales goal. Okay, so you can assign goals for your prospecting team. Okay. If I take mine, for example, I set up a goal. I need to, do 10 qualification on prospect per week. Okay, that's my goal as an SDR. As a qualifier, I need to do 10 qualification on prospect, and I have to manage 2 meetings. Okay. Okay. So that could be goals that you set up for your team to keep them, motivated, especially for prospecting activities, which are quite difficult.
the funniest thing.
Exactly.
Indeed.
But what I wanted to show you, it's actually in the analysis per prospecting list. Okay. So you've got a dedicated analysis for your prospecting activities. You can filter by user, you can filter by tag also, but basically if I jump back to the prospecting list that I used just before during the demo, it's basically providing me an analysis of what has happened in terms of activities, but also a qualitative analysis of the prospect I have. Okay, because I've got a number of entries, how many leads were created, how many leads were won from this prospecting list, and how much money it brings into my account. Okay. Great. So by analyzing this, you can obviously, analyze the source of this prospecting list, if it's a good source of leads for you or not. And then you can also try to improve that. Then you've got below the activity performed by your team within this prospecting list. So just before, you've seen that I've logged some warning activities, qualification warning, qualification good fit, qualification bad fit. I'm logging all my calls as well, and you basically are able to follow up on what has been done by each team member on each of the prospecting lists. Okay. So all these activities are related to your business, of course. You can set it up in noCRM according to what your sales reps are doing actually on a daily basis. And you can keep track of that for a specific prospecting list.
That's great. So you can know how many calls you need to transform how many prospects into leads. And so to set those goals, you can base your goal, you can base yourself on these stats to create the goal.
To create the goal. So you don't create goals that are not achievable. Exactly. Plus, it's also a self-motivation tool for a team. They are able to keep track of how many qualification calls they did, how many calls were successful. And also, if you have a team of qualifier and then closer, you can find information on what has been done on the lead after it has been created from this prospecting list. Okay, so was the lead closed or not? And that's also very important as a sales rep. If you qualify the lead for someone else, to be able to follow up on those leads and see if it has closed at the end or not. And of course, it's very important for the sales manager at the end.
Great.
So that's what we do, and the sales goals, I have to admit, it's kind of new. Huh? It's a new feature.
Kind of new. It was launched today, so yes, it's very new.
So we don't have any specific feedback to give right now because we didn't use it internally. But I would say for a team of qualifier or SDR, it's very valuable to keep track of what has been done in the prospecting list, especially. So you can access it here directly, set up goals for your qualifier team, and make sure they keep focus on that when they are doing their prospecting activities.
All right. Can you just show us quickly how to set up the different activities, how to create the goals, for example?
So I'm going to my profile, the admin panel. For all related to activities and things, it's going to be under the sales process. Okay, so I'm finding it here, activities. You can create custom activities and outcomes. Okay, so here I've created an activity, which is qualification. Okay, and I can define 3 outcomes. You can have more, of course. You can be very creative in the way you create activities, but basically call, meeting, can be demo, can be anything, and the outcome. It's important to set up the outcome because this is what the sales rep are going to actually fill in when they're doing an activity.
Okay.
Sales goal also, you can define it here. And we were talking about the script. The script is here, what we call sales script generator.
Integration. Okay.
Okay, it's under built-in tools, sales script generator. And I can create multiple ones, activate them, edit them. And let's try to create a new one. So it brings you to a page where you can start creating your sales script. And if I don't want to start with a blank page, I can select B2B service. And then I've got an interface with a lot of different blocks that I can add, predefined questions that we set up for you, and you can adapt everything. Okay. Then you save it to your account. It's going to be synchronized directly to your noCRM account. And it's going to be in your list. You just need to activate it for your team.
Thank you. Have a great week and hope to see you during the next session. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.